In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at how to generify array lists. So the first thing you want to do is import java.util.ArrayList. Okay, so ArrayList can hold any object, and it holds it cast as an object of the object class. So note, when objects are returned from the ArrayList method, it is an object of the object class. You have to cast it to the class if you want to use methods from that class. So whatever you store in the array list, say it's a bank account object, it's stored as an object of the object class. So when you use the get method, it comes out as an object of the object class. So you actually have to cast it to the bank account class to be able to use any methods that are specialized in the bank account class. Okay, so generics allow collections to be identified by what type of object they hold. So when objects are returned from the generic array list methods, is an object of the generic type. So let's compare the two. So we're going to first construct an array list that's not generified. So array list A equals new array list, create some bank account objects, and we're going to add these to the array list. So we're going to add them and add the object. Remember, that adds the object to the end of the list. And since array lists are dynamic, this increases its size, and we print it out. So there's our first printout. Now, when we use the get method, it's going to return an object of the object class. So I'm just going to use a for loop here. So I go from 0 to the size, going up by 1. And so I do object O equals a.get. Now, I try to do o.getBalance. And watch. This, oops, let me comment that out. This gives me an error because there is no getBalance method from the object class. The getBalance method is part of the bank account class. So even though we know that O is a bank account object, it's currently cast as an object, so we can't use bank account methods. So we actually would have to cast this to a bank account for it to work. Now, let's compare that to an array list that's been generified. So to generify an array list, you say array list, and then you put its class. Variable name equals new array list, and again, you put its class. So here we go. I've now generified my array list to using bank account objects. So everything in this array list is going to be a bank account object. So I add them the same way. It prints off just fine. Prints off just fine, just like this. And when I use the get method, it's going to return an object of the bank account class. So no longer do I need to worry about casting. Here, this didn't work. I would have to cast it to being a bank account object. But here, it works just fine. No casting required. I can use the get method. It returns a bank account object, and thus I can deposit. You can see it works fine. And it prints fine. See, I added 50. So here, like I said, I would have to cast it to a bank account. So I do bank account. I'll just call it BA equals cast a bank account. Oh. And now that works fine. So now I could do BA dot deposit 50. Works just fine. And so then let's print out our array. Oh, it should be ABA there. And then let's rerun it and see if that works now. It did. It allowed me to deposit my additional money in there. So look at this. I get the object, I had to cast it, and then I can deposit it. But when it's generified, no casting required, and it deposits easily into my bank account as such. And everything works great there. And that is the end of this lesson.